This is Julie Gibson Clark, a 55-year-old single mom with one of the lowest speed of aging in the world.
She has figured out the way to reverse the signs of aging.
She spends only around $100 a month on her health protocols, beating billionaires in the process. In this video, Julie will walk us through her daily routine and show us what she does to stay super healthy on a budget. What's her secret? How does she keep going? And what exactly makes her human?
Hello, it's so nice to meet you in person.
Awesome.
Come on in.
Thank
Come on upstairs.
Walk me through from the very top.
So wake up, I've got an alarm that wakes me up at 5 and I lay there for a bit and think about how much I don't want to go work out. But I tell myself it's okay because I can just go and get in the sauna, and that's what gets me out of bed. So then I get out of bed and I actually make the bed. I'm a big fan of making my bed every day.
How do you make it look so professional?
Well, I
It
was
literally
I was
looks-
a maid in a hotel through college.
You even have the little divots and pillows.
whole thing.
Hey, Julie.
Yes.
Love it.
And then it's off to make a cup of tea.
So Julie, tell me about your childhood.
I had a great childhood with very fond memories. I was born in Houston, Texas, and raised there. My dad was an astronaut on Skylab 3, so he was kind of training a good portion of my younger years. It must have been 8 because I was an 8 and under swimming. I started swimming, and I used to swim like 3 hours a day. Just loved it. My dad would come with me to swim meets, and he'd say, you know, you gotta race in 30 minutes. Let's give you some Snickers so you have a glycogen load. And I'm like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, wow, I can have a Snickers? Okay. What impressed upon me was I did perform better in those races. I could feel the sugar in my muscles. And I just remember being very young thinking, okay, what you eat really matters.
Was everyone around you really healthy?
My dad was just a scientist, so he had to train his body to be healthy for space. So I just grew up watching him work out. He was definitely the original biohacker. I mean, I can remember in high school, seeing on the back of his bathroom door, his charts for, he would chart his weight every day and look at the trends, you know, and he had always had so many supplements. My mom would be like, oh, you have too many supplements, you know.
Is he proud of you?
Oh yeah. Oh, don't make me cry. I love my dad so much. We used to tease him all the time because he would make these concoctions. So when I was making one of my concoctions, I was making the green drink, and I was getting everything down, and I was like, the transformation is complete. I have become my father. I called him. I'm like, Dad, guess what? I'm totally you. I'm gonna sit down over here and glasses and Bible. And I just read a couple sections from the Bible and kind of wake up and just relax with God. And I have a couple prayers that I say every day. I do the St. Francis of Assisi prayer for peace. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So I pray that every morning. If anything's been edgy, you know, mostly that'll happen kind of with my son being a teenager, and it just helps me okay, that's right, it's my job to understand, and just to be giving in the world instead of taking always works out better. So that's just a nice reminder. Every morning I do that, and then I read a section from different parts of the Bible. Right now I'm in Sirach, and that's kind of the wisdom books, and then I read a little bit of the gospel every morning. And if I need a little extra help, I have a prayer to St. Anne, which I won't share. That's only just for if you need a special favor.
Wow. How much would you say religion or religious beliefs help you stay young, healthy, and vibrant?
I mean, if you want to play the long game, life is hard. I mean, just the 55 years I've lived, I've been dealt some serious blows, and you gotta have something to keep you going. All religions are a study in love and how to love yourself and how to love other people. That's really, to me, all it is.
How long do you sit?
I do this for about 20 minutes. Then comes reality. And I'm on my phone The first thing I do is check my email, and it looks like I actually have a message from my boss. So, and I just make sure that there's nothing, immediate that I could attend to before I go work out. Sometimes I sit here for another 20 minutes, sometimes it's 40, but I'm just drinking my tea, and then I put the phone away. And it is time to wash my face. First thing in the morning, I just use this Dr. Hauska's Rose Day Cream. That I've been using for years.
It's you wash your face and then you put that on?
Just put a little bit of that on. That's because that's right before my workout. And then I put on my workout clothes.
Boom pow.
Boom, boom, pow.
And what do you use to brush your teeth?
Yeah, I love this Himalaya Botanic with xylitol. Xylitol can coat your teeth like fluoride, but without the fluoride.
And you use just a regular toothbrush?
My best friend is a dentist. I noticed she didn't use one. I was like, you don't use one? She's like, no, they can really be a little too harsh on your gums. So I stopped. Then I get my workout bag, and it's time to go work out. Let's do it. Yep. And key, got to get this ready the night before. Don't wait till that morning because it's too early and you won't be able to think. So
it's nice. Very Arizona.
Very Arizona. My dad bought that for me.
What is inside the bag? Can you kind of show me?
Sure. So I got a towel for being on the different machines and such. This is a towel for post shower. I got my shower shoes.
Ooh.
I got a bag that I take in the shower that's got kind of like my shampoo, my conditioner, anything else I need in the shower. I got my clothes, got my dress. I'm gonna wear flip-flops and all the stuff to take care of my hair, and then the stuff to take care of my skin, and
Skin bag.
deodorant. You gotta have that, and a brush.
Are there any products in here that you swear by that you're like, I'm obsessed with these?
I'm obsessed with Aveda shampoo because I love the smell. Here, smell this.
Oh,
Doesn't that smell good?
oh, that's so like
baby
heart.
Yeah, I love it. My body lotion, I'm still kind of working out. I just found this one product that I really like, and I'm gonna have to get the name of the company for you, but it's tallow, which seems to be all going around, Instagram these days, but I'm really liking this for body lotion. I feel like it's safe and healthy and natural. And in Arizona, it's so dry, you have to have something that's really moisturizing and sticks with you all day. And this really soaks into your skin and keeps it really nice.
Do you put that everywhere?
For my face, I've been using this for years to replenish. So first the glycolics and then this one.
Have you been healthy your whole life?
Yeah, with a few blips. I had a rough 30s and went to get some help from a doctor, and the doctor just wanted to prescribe more medicine. I was already on a medication. She wanted to prescribe another medication, and I was like, I just don't want to take medication my whole life. Like, there's got to be another way. And this was for acid reflux, and I just kept thinking, well, if I have acid reflux, it's got to be something I'm eating, not knowing that stress causes acid reflux.
In your 30s, what was making that time so stressful?
This was from 29 to 31, 32. Married, divorced. I left my job as an engineer that I had trained for. I had no idea what I was going to do next, but I knew I couldn't do it anymore. I moved out of my house and then moved different apartments, maybe like 4 times. I was told I had 2 lumps in my left breast, and then a man tried to kidnap me at knife point. And he got in my car. I won't get into that whole story, but that was kind of like the beginning of, I gotta take control of the situation. And luckily, I got out of the car. That was like a very empowering situation. It turned out very positively for my life. But that's when I just became like, okay, we gotta fix this. I can't have this acid reflux every day. I don't think I need this antidepressant anymore. I needed it at the time, but I didn't think I needed it anymore. So I sought the help of a naturopath. I was in Portland, Oregon, and there's a naturopathic medicine school there. A lot of my friends were talking about it, and I was like, okay, well, let's see, if that could help. And sure enough, get off all wheat and dairy, 2 weeks, no acid reflux. And then when I went back to see her after those 2 weeks, she said, well, I'll help you get off the antidepressant if you want to try, we can at least try. She put me on a nutraceutical protocol, and sure enough.
And what are nutraceuticals?
So nutraceuticals are just vitamins that you can use as a pharmaceutical, using vitamins as healing.
What are the key things that you do every single week?
I always make sure I do a VO2 max, and I typically do that on Mondays. The reason for that is I've usually eaten some fun things on the weekends, and so I feel like I might have a little bit more glycogen in my muscles. It makes me feel good about it. Plus, I like checking it off for the week, like making sure that gets done. So I do a Norwegian 4x4. That's 3 minutes warm up, 4 minutes hard, 3 minutes easy, 4 minutes, and you do that 4 times. So that's 28 minutes, and I take those last 2 minutes to just chill out. Can do it on any machine.
You do the Norwegian 4x4 on the step.
On the step mill, yeah.
Okay.
After that, I'll work my trunk. So I'll abs and lower back, obliques. I do that. Then I sauna for anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Cold shower. It's summer. I don't get a cold shower in Arizona, but in the winter, it's a cold shower. Then I get ready for my day at the gym. I just find it easier not to faff about between coming home and then having to get ready. It just adds barriers, so I want to reduce those barriers. Tuesday, I have a gym up in my neighborhood, and I just do a full body free weight workout. And the reason I go there is just, it's easier to get around. I can get all the equipment that I need. And so for my full body workout, I focus on trying to do at least 3 exercises for my lower body and 3 exercises for my upper body. It's more working on form and mobility. And
how many reps are you doing?
I'm doing 3 sets of 12. And then I'm just walking to that gym. So then I walk home, I shower, and get ready here. So there's no sauna. Wednesday, I'm gonna go to the gym and do zone 2 cardio. So either a slow on the step mill or slow on the elliptical trainer or slow on the treadmill. Then Thursday, I kind of evaluate, do I wanna go in the gym and do full body weights on machines? That is more focusing on, because I'm kind of restricted by the machine, I can up the weight a little bit more and hopefully build more muscle.
What are like, boom, 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 the main things you're hitting each week?
VO2 max 1 time, full body strength training twice, and the remainder zone 2 cardio. Then I'm gonna do sauna as many days as I can, and 1 rest day. Sunday is a day of absolutely no commitments. I might go for a walk, I might go for a hike if my friend asks me, but I do not commit to anything. There's only like a few people I'll commit to: my parents, my best friend, and my son. That's it. Everybody else, like, I just won't make a commitment on Sunday.
Yeah,
I might see them, but I just don't make a commitment to it.
Right.
I just need to have a day of like lollygagging.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shake it up, y'all.
So I'm like about size 4 now. Living in Oregon at that time, I was probably a 16 or an 18. No,
So you gained a lot of weight.
I was, I was like drinking wine every night, sometimes followed by some like whiskey. I was like Starbucks every morning with a scone and like the full-fledged frappuccino or so. I mean, all that sugar crap. I didn't know that was so bad for you, you know, like, so I was just doing that every day. And it's Oregon, it's cold, you know, so you just keep covering up. You don't really think about it. And then it's just like, oh my God, like, whoa. So when I went down that path, that was when I started working out. I had always kind of worked out because of swimming. You know, I became interested in weights in college, and so I joined the gym again and started going to the gym, started lifting weights, just eating healthier in general.
How was that, going back to the gym and getting back into that?
It felt so great. It felt so great, so empowering. Again, after everything I'd been through, like, it just became like a power place, because those were tough times.
Did your body have a shock?
I don't remember that feeling negative, like, because I start really slow. I don't jump in and like try to do everything at once. Who's the girl who played the mom in Terminator? And she just like buff arms. That was the first time like women were seeing like, oh, you could build that? Like, it was just a new concept, you know? So this Shape magazine had her workout in there, and I just started doing that. This is back in college, and I had some great success with it. So they showed you like how to build into that. Was like, okay, you know, right now you're gonna do 2 sets of 6 for this week, and then the next week it was gonna be 2 sets of 8, and, you know, like build up to then 3 sets of 12. That's where my whole 3 sets of 12 came from. So you slowly, like week by week, add a little more.
Why is gaining muscle important for you?
Yeah, so for aging, I think it's really critically important. I want to be able to walk up and down stairs. I want to have that stability as I get older. I certainly don't want to be one of those people that's the victim of a fall that then turns into, you know, all kinds of bad outcomes.
Right.
So, and also I want to have a little bit to, like, unfortunately lose if, God forbid, you know, like sometimes I have back problems, and if I have to lay in bed for a few days, I just want to build a lot of muscle so that once I'm older, I don't ever want to feel frail.
Yeah.
That scares me more than anything in the world. When I do this next DEXA, if I haven't gained any muscle, then I'm going to do 3 days of full body weights.
So in the sauna, It's on the slightly less hot side, maybe like
I've
100.
never measured it because I had heavy metal poisoning. I knew that after the sauna, I need to shower to get any, I don't know, toxins that might be on my skin. I want them off immediately, which is why I shower right after.
Do you like the cold showers?
It sucks. Like every day I get in, I'm like, am I really gonna do it? Oh, come on. Like seriously, am I gonna do this? And then I just like, you know what? Just give it 1 second and you can like make it hot. And then it's like, oh, actually it feels kind of good. Like, you know, especially after a sauna. And in fact, like now that it's warm in the summer, the cold water is, you know, 80 plus degrees. It's not cold at all. I don't ever get that buzz that I get from the cold shower. When I started it, I was just coming out of this really stressful period, and I was just doing it for the detoxification as well as like immune system. I knew that like taking a cold shower after a sauna was good for the immune system. I started doing it, and like, I don't know, maybe like a week into it, I'm like, God, I feel really good. Like, I feel like I am on like an antidepressant again. Like, what is going on? I started researching it, and sure enough, Huberman had something, and it's talking about this dopamine curve and how, and it feels like it lasts for like 4 or 5 hours. And then when the heat of the summer comes and I don't get that cold shower, I'm like, oh, okay.
It's not the same.
That's it.
Are you just naturally filled with this motivation to deal with?
No.
So how do you get yourself
so I
to
think,
do these things?
So I definitely have an inner general. I can be really mean to myself. I have been until I had my son. As you're like raising your kids and you're like, you know, don't let anybody talk to you like that. And I'm like, why am I talking to myself like that? Like, that's really harsh. Like, don't do that to yourself. So I definitely took shame out of the equation. You got to have an intention and you got to have a why. So like my intention that's developed through reading through longevity and everything is like knowing that I could have a health span that matches my lifespan. And so that I can be vibrant and vital and strong all the years that I'm here, and that I can travel, that I could like have this whole other life like outside of my son. My why is several things. One, I want to be there for my son and all the life changes he goes through, and just, if nothing else, to just bear witness to his life. But also, if he needs me, I can be there, because it's kind, I mean, he has family that loves him and everything, but I'm his everyday person. So,
and you're his mother.
I'm his mom, and I want to be there for as long as possible. And two, unfortunately, I'm watching my mom develop Parkinson's, and watching that slow, breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart. And I don't want my son to look at me and feel that way. But I just like, it's just absolutely horrible to see my mom like that, you know, knowing like what's coming too. That is what gets me in the gym every day. Like, okay, I gotta work the muscles. I gotta do this. I'm sure if she could go back 30 years, she would do it. She would have started lifting weights and doing things. She never really worked out or that kind of stuff. She was raised on a farm, naturally skinny, you know, so she just didn't really worry about that. So I think you have to have your intention, you have to have your why, and then couple that with the schedule, and there's just nothing that'll stop you. I am going to make a green drink with Mercola fermented greens. This is Moringa, and the brand I'll have to get for you because it's the most studied brand. I think it's called Kuli Kuli. And then this is maca powder, and that's like a teaspoon. I used to do a tablespoon of Moringa, but now I'm down to like a teaspoon. And then this is just the whole earth sweetener. I mix it with a lemon, and this is my new favorite obsession, beet kvass that I've been making.
And you made that yourself?
Yeah, I'll show you. Literally, you chop up beets. In here is about 2 beets. They're raw, and you want the bacteria that's on the skin, and chop it up, put water over it, and like, I think I did about a half a teaspoon of salt for this size, and just mix it all up. Anyway, so this is pretty simple. It's just a half a lemon squeezed. Sometimes we make limeade and we'll just juice up a bunch of them. It's like, oh, my shoulder hurts.
And then you're like, why am I so jacked?
And then you just gotta take the seeds out. Hot tip, you just use a little fork.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah. So we're doing this. We're gonna mix. These are Mercola fermented greens. A little bit of chlorella in there too.
Do you add the chlorella to it, or it's just?
I just mix the chlorella and fermented greens. I think it's usually like 1/4 of it's chlorella. And then I'm gonna put some water in here, just enough to mix this puppy up.
Wow.
So
why cold water?
Because it's greens, and greens taste way better. In fact, we're gonna put some ice in here too. If you drink them warm, it's just Okay, and then I'm just gonna like, how much beet kvass in there is different every day. But isn't that, look at this color.
So beautiful.
Isn't
Like,
that
unreal.
crazy? It just depends on like the day. It depends on how much I have in the kitchen too. I'm thinking, oh, I gotta save some because again, my son's like, who drank all the beet kvass?
Wow, he loves it that much.
He
Okay.
loves it that much. So
Yeah.
some ice, and then I'll top it off with water.
Hello to the cutest ice cubes in the world. What?
And then I am a straw user, so straw police come after me, but these are, actually, you know what? I'll show you what they are. Biodegradable straws, plant-based.
So you can use a straw and still save the turtles. All
So,
right.
do you want to try some?
Ooh,
Here, we can just put 2 straws in
Okay.
there.
it's like we're on a date.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Okay, okay. Let me try this. Whoa. Wow.
Is it good?
Whoa.
Did it turn out good? It's good, right?
It's like
Let me see.
so many flavors.
Yeah, I love it.
It's definitely very doable.
It's
though.
like earthy, but sweet and sour.
Whoa.
Earthy, sweet, and sour.
Yeah, it's like grass and sour Patch Kids without sugar. And refreshing.
If you want to make it really, really fancy, you can use bubbly water.
Oh my God. That actually would be so nice,
It's
right?
really refreshing.
It adds a
And
little
so
kick.
if I want to feel like I'm having a special drink in the evening, I mix the beet kvass. I don't use the greens in the evening, but I'll
Right.
mix the beet kvass with the bubbly water in a
Heck
wine
yeah.
glass. And then listen to
Yes.
this sound. That's, to me, like that sound is so relaxing. It's like everything I want
like
from wine
elegance.
is right
Elegance.
there. There's a great book, I'll give you a title. It is called The Art of Fermentation. Like this is the fermentation Bible if ever there was one. Anything and everything you want to know that's been fermented or can be fermented is in here.
Why fermentation?
I want to get as much of the, as we call them in my house, happy bugs as possible in my body. It seems like more and more research is coming out about how good it is to have probiotics. And so I do take probiotics sometimes, but it saves a lot of money to just eat fermented foods. And oh, by the way, like I'd imagine there's still some nitrogen left from the beets. Like if you just do things naturally, it all then works synergistically together, and it's usually a lot cheaper than buying a supplement. I don't go on a diet, I go on a try it. It's like, I'm gonna try this and see, and I'm gonna stick to it for 2 weeks, come hell or high water, you know? And then after that initial crap feeling sometimes you feel on a new diet, do I feel better? And see if it makes a difference.
Yeah.
This was right after my brother died, unfortunately. My hair was falling out. I was really, really tired. My son didn't sleep very well, and obviously, like I said, my brother just died. So like at first I was thinking, okay, it's just the stress of that. My friend just said, you should go get tested for heavy metals. And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I had just had some dental amalgams removed. I mean, I knew mercury was bad for you, which is why I was having them removed. But like when they did it, I think I swallowed some mercury.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when I went to get the metals tested, it turned out I had a lot of different metals.
Where did the heavy
Yeah.
metals come from?
I mean, obviously there's no for sure way of saying, but like I'm an adventurous eater. I'll eat anything. So I'm in Dubai, I'm in Doha, I'm all over the world. Like I love fish, absolutely. Like I love that the flesh tastes different, it's just so interesting. They're all fish. There was a time when I was on a diet living in Doha, and I was eating like smoked Atlantic salmon for breakfast, tuna for lunch, and then sometimes like more fish for dinner. Like that would be my day. And then I got on the FDA's website and saw like how much tuna you could actually have in a day, and I was like blowing way past that.
So these like bigger fish, you were eating a lot of those.
Oh yeah, because it tasted so good. Shark, I mean that's like, it's like steak, but like good. And another important like symptom I had when I would get out of bed, it was like my feet couldn't feel the floor properly. That's the way I would have described it, but I just couldn't balance properly. It was very weird. I was also a ceramics major for a brief year or so in college and in mixing glazes, and I never wore the mask, and so God only knows what chemicals I was breathing in. Who knows? Who knows where we get these, but when I started doing the cleanup with the doctor, we did my genetics, and I carried that MTHFR gene and a couple other things. She said, you just might not detoxify very well, and so you're gonna always have to like support your body in detoxification. Now it's time for my first meal of the day, which is usually always yet another drink. And I'm going to make this really great greens latte from this book. Let me get the book. Better Broths and Healing Tonics. In here, she's got this bone broth that's quote unquote sweet. It doesn't have sugar in it. When you make the bone broth, you make it with all kinds of spices and apples instead of like onions and celery. And it makes this really spicy broth. It calls for greens, so I do 4 ounces of greens. She says a cup of broth and a cup and a quarter of any kind of milk blend. I do it the other way around. I like less of this and more of the bone broth. So, and I use this Vita cocoa milk. It's not sweet, it's not overly milky, and I try to stay away from too much nuts in my diets.
Why is that?
With autoimmune diseases, you need to stay away from a lot of the lectins. There's going to be some nuts in here, but I just try to keep it to a minimum, and so far I haven't had any issues. So I'm just going to top this off with a little bit more. I'm going to go over, so it'll be about like a cup. It's not rocket science, right? So we're going to put that over the greens, and we are going to quickly heat these bad boys up. But the greens will cook down to like nothing. They look like so much, but they'll just cook down to like a little handful. Yeah. And so while that's heating, 3 tablespoons of pecans are going to go in there. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, which I pre-ground already, and I just keep it in my freezer. That's going to go in there. And then there's 3 spices. There is ground dried ginger. That's like a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. So that's going to go in there. And then she just says, you know, protein powder optional. So I do a scoop of collagen protein, and then this is a scoop of a vegan protein. I either use Orgain or Own, one of the two, but I think that's Orgain, and it's vanilla, and it has a little bit of sweetener in it. So that's going in there. And we're also going to put in half an apple. Here we go. Ooh, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I try to keep the chunks all like the same size. And I just use a Himalayan sea salt. You can't get enough salt in Arizona, especially if I'm like walking and doing the sauna. I'm sweating a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's
hot. And we're going to be really careful. I'm going to do it over the sink because I have a forebrain that tells me just in case. And then we're going to whip this puppy up. Do a little band.
And you drink just 1 cup of this, or this whole
I just drink this whole thing.
You drink the whole thing? I love it.
I drink the whole thing. So I'll just like leave this here, go back up and work.
Cheers. First of all, it smells delicious. It's literally
Christmas in a cup.
Yeah. Ooh, like so spicy. Wow.
Right? Can you feel the cloves on your tongue though?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
My heart.
I know. It's a cup of Christmas.
Literally so delightful.
I know.
Wait, what the heck?
You know. Now, is it sweet enough? I always adjust the sweetness.
Oh,
yeah, I think
it's like so nice.
the protein
It's like
powder.
a little bit salty, but also sweet and so comforting.
You don't have to make it as salty, but I do just.
I feel like I'm in a womb.
It starts with the broth. You've got to make the bone broth. I make it, and half of it will fit in here, and then the other half will go in my freezer. And that lasts me about, I make it last through the week.
Okay.
You know, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
and then I'll pull the other one out. So it's kind of like every other week. It's either Saturday or Sunday. That's when I just kind of look at, okay, what do I need for the week ahead? You know, how many vegetables do I need? How much do I need any bone broth? Do I need this? Do I need that?
So Sunday is the food prep day.
Yeah, exactly.
How long does it take you to food prep for everything?
I don't time myself because this is my happy place. Like this is my, if I'm very stressed, I'm in the kitchen. If I'm very happy, I'm in the kitchen. If I'm whatever, I'm in the kitchen. Like I love to cook for people. And I was very, very stressed out in my 30s, and I would get this voice in my head, as it make me cry, but it would say, "You are such a failure. How, you know, who do you think you are?" And I knew that I could be successful at cooking. And so I would go home, I would literally leave in the middle of the day. Like I'm going home for lunch, and I would make a batch of cookies because I knew that I could finish it from beginning to end and be very successful at it. And then cooking became my comfort. And so, you know, I know not a lot of people love to spend time in the kitchen like I do. So you know, like, I don't know how long my prep takes. I'd probably figure like, for sure, like an hour with the vegetables. And then like the other stuff goes in like this goes in the Instant Pot. So I probably total in the kitchen 2 to 3 hours. Like if I were rushing and had something I wanted to do on a Sunday, but I knew I needed a prep, I'd probably give myself 3 to 4 hours, just so I didn't have to rush. But I bet you could get it done in 2.
Yeah, but you're relaxing, you're enjoying.
Yeah, it's total
every
relaxation zone.
Suggestion: you might have heavy metal poisoning. You go get it checked out, and you do.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So we're going to do chelation therapy. If you go in one day, they give you a chelator via an IV, which basically binds with any minerals like circulating. So it's going to bind with the healthy minerals as well as the metals. Then you just urinate it out.
So they're inserting an IV, and inside that IV is something that is
an IV.
binding.
And so because it's pulling all the good ones out, you got to go back the next day and they give you a round of healthy minerals. I did that for like 12 weeks. And all along she's measuring periodically like what's happening in my urine, what's happening in my blood. So she was helping me stay healthy. And we even had like a point at which things just went sideways, and I was perimenopausal at the time. It was just an awful hormonal state, and I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. So never try to chelate on your own. You have to have somebody monitoring you. And luckily she knew exactly what to do to help me. But this is, with the help of a doctor, it went sideways.
And how'd that go?
I hit about week 6 and I was driving home and I was like, whoa, like I feel good. It felt like my peripheral vision opened up and like light was clear. Everything just looked not brighter, but just like better. And I just felt like I had a cloud over me that I didn't know was there and was no longer there. I kept thinking I had like depression, and like talk therapy was great and it has helped me immensely, but I just could never figure out like, why do I feel like these weird sadnesses, Not that I don't get that. I just have a resilience, to sad moments that I didn't have before.
So the cloud had lifted.
The cloud lifted, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started feeling really good, and I got kind of addicted. Well, what else out there could make me feel really good? Like, is there more? Also because we had to stop, it's like, okay, all your metals are in like safe spaces. You don't like, this is not good for your body to be chelating all the time. But knowing that, one, I'm going to have to detoxify, like support my body in detoxification, which is when I started taking like a B complex and magnesium, because I always came back like chronically deficient in magnesium. So I always started taking magnesium, then B vitamins, and then vitamin D3, K2 was recommended by her, as well as the omegas. And so those I started taking at 40. So I've been taking those pretty consistently for 15 years. And then going on like different triads. So like, I tried a vegan diet. I tried the paleo diet. I was doing autoimmune paleo, which I felt very good on, but it's so restrictive. I did keto, which felt really good at first. I remember calling my friend, I'm like, I feel like I'm on like the happiest drugs in the world. I think it was when it like kicked in or something. But then it just then it didn't. And I had like a blood clot issue. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if it's the diet or not, but I'm not going to keep, like, it was hard. It's hard. It's really hard to do too.
And then that brings us to today.
Yeah.
Glowing, one of the lowest speed of aging in the world. Boom, boom, pow.
For lunch, I usually make a bowl of veggies, my Novos, and some protein.
And how many grams of protein are you trying to get a day?
So I'm doing 100, and that's based on my lean body mass. And my lean body mass, I think, is about 100 pounds. So I'm trying to do 100 grams of protein. When I do this next DEXA, if I haven't gained any muscle mass, then I'll reevaluate the protein and the numbers of days that I work out.
If you haven't gained muscle, will you bump up the protein a little bit?
I'll bump up the protein.
Yeah.
Just in case it's helping, but I'll also add that 3rd day of weights. So we're going to do a veggie rainbow, and then we had some chicken breasts left over from a dinner I made the other night.
Can we just talk about how beautiful this is?
Yeah, make things beautiful, people. It will inspire you.
And this is grocery store. You just go to the grocery store, get what you have.
Yeah, I'm just at Sprouts, and it's all organic. I do try to get a lot of different colors. Like I got the purple carrots. I have no idea if it has more vitamins in it than regular carrots, but they're prettier and they're funner. I mean, my son will go, he's 17 and be like, woo, like whatever it takes. So we're gonna just measure out like a mix of veggies. This is going to be my nosh bowl for the rest of the day. I'm going to do about 8 ounces because I'm going to 4 ounces of greens in the morning, and then I'm gonna make sure at night I get ideally another 4 ounces of greens, but some kind of vegetable, 4 ounces. So I'm just gonna do like 8 ounces here, and I know I really want some more of that. So we are, boom, at 8 ounces. And then I'm gonna measure out 4 ounces of chicken breast and slice by slice, figure out, like, I'm sure I need all this. And 4 ounces of chicken breast, I think I said was 35 grams of protein. Ooh, 4.4. Should I go over? I'll just go over. Then we're gonna make some Novos.
Ooh. So tell me about Novos. Do you feel like it's made a big difference?
It's made a huge difference. This product came up and I noticed it had like alpha ketoglutarate in there. It had glycine. It also had lithium, which my doctor was already just telling me about. And I had lithium downstairs. I was starting to take some and I was like, oh my God, this is like great. It's got everything all in one little powder. So when I went to order it, they asked if I wanted to be part of a study. I thought, why not? Like, one, I got product for free. I had to pay for the test that they were using, but again, it was a very minimal cost. And then I thought, well, then I could see if this was going to be worth the monthly expense. And the first 6 months that I started taking the product, my life went to complete crazyville. And I was so stressed. And I mean, some nights not sleeping, some nights, I mean, definitely I was not doing this. I was eating in and out here and there. If I was eating at all, like, it was just a very, very stressful time. But
This is while you were testing.
when I first started Novus, I wasn't like, life was not great, but it wasn't like out of control. Like that next 6 months, it got out of control. But I really wanted to do good on the study. Like, this is a testament to accountability. You know, I was like, I felt accountable to them. Like, that this is their study. This is their burgeoning company. I want to help them. You know, let me at least make sure I take it every day. So, and it's so easy. When they called me, hey, it's time to do your 6-month test, I just said, I don't think these results are going to be good. This is a major life stressor. When I went to take the test, I just was like, give me a week, you know, so a week of sleep. I'm like, let me take the test. And I dropped my pace of aging by 8%. So this is why I don't make any money from Novos telling you this. Like, this is why I'm dedicated to this company, because I know the product works. I mean, that's an 8% drop in a stressful time.
Wow.
And then the next 6 months is when I implemented the working out, the veggies, all the stuff that I'm telling you about. And that dropped me another 3%. So I'm hopeful when I take my next test, which will be a whole another year later, that maybe either I've stayed the same or I've dropped it. We'll see. We're gonna get another jar. You can see we drink up jars here.
Good.
And some more water. I just fill it a little bit, stir it in, and then add all the rest of it, because then it doesn't splash out on me.
Right. This is the orange flavor.
Orange flavor, yeah.
For longevity, skin health, and cognition.
Ooh. Well, I just mix it up. Again, Arizona, need your ice. And we'll just top it off. And so I mix it with a lot of water. I think they show their ad, like, I don't know, 12 ounces of water. I'm like, ooh, that would be so sweet. Like, it's so, you wait till you taste this. It's like sweet and sour. It tastes really good to me, but I just need it really watered down.
First Novos ever.
You've not tried it? Oh, okay.
I haven't.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll give you some.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It is sweet and sour, right?
Wow.
Can you imagine making that with only like
tastes
12
like
ounces of water?
Like an orange popsicle.
I've mixed it with yogurt, plain yogurt before, and it gives it like this really like dessert-like flavor.
This tastes like cheating. And you're just eating.
Yeah,
and
I just
working.
kind of like nosh the rest of the day. So usually by dinner time, I'm actually not hungry. I'm almost force feeding myself, and it's just so I can make sure I get the protein.
So you're not hungry for dinner after?
Rarely. It is rare, unless I've like really pushed myself at the gym.
Before all this, would you say you were an eater, or you're
Oh my God, like I was one of those people that had to have ice cream every night. Like, oh yeah, like this has been a game changer. The bowl of vegetables, like that just changed everything.
So let's bring it back to when you were a mother. Can you walk us through what was the difference in your health routine, like before child, when you had a baby, and then now when he's a teenager?
I was really into my routine before I had him. My routine before I had my son, I mean, I was in the gym 6 days a week like I am now. I was sticking to that, and I was like, I think I was like a size 0.
Wow.
Tiny.
Whoa.
Then I got pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay. I was living in Dubai at the time, and I still worked out and everything all the way up until I was just too big and it was not comfortable, but I would walk for sure, you know. And then I had him and yeah, like, no. There's no going to the gym. I came home, I was in Arizona when I had him. My mom was so sweet and helped me those first few months. But then I moved back to Dubai after like 3 months. I would try to go to the gym, like bring him to the gym. He just was like a restless little fella, you know, and wasn't pleasant for the other people in the gym. And they didn't have like daycare centers. I thought, well, 2 for 1, like put him in the stroller and go for a walk, and that would calm him down. And I just walked a ton. When he first was born, I mean, come on, like you're not sleeping, you can't even like get your head around it. So like parents out there, like give yourself some grace. You're not going to go back to what you did for a little while. Like just buckle up.
How long are we buckling up for?
You're buckling up until they go to daycare. Until they go to daycare. Again, I was kind of a solo mom pretty much right from the beginning. From the time he was about maybe 6 to 9 months onward, I was a solo mom. Just, yeah, I didn't have that like tag team. I didn't want to like leave the house in the morning with him sleeping in his bed. I just thought, oh God, like the house is going to catch on fire. I don't know. I just never wanted to do any of that. Like I thought, oh God, he'll wake up and I'm not there. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. So I just got really into doing what I could, when I could, however I could. Thank God YouTube became a thing, and like yoga with Adrian. And then I would just try to do body weight exercises, you know, like air squats, push-ups. My son was never a sleeper. I mean, he didn't sleep until he was like 3 years old. Like I never got more than a 4-hour chunk of sleep until he was about 3.
How do you think about time management since you have so much going on, even now with the teenager?
So I give myself a lot of grace. Well, first of all, I make a plan. Usually like my plans kind of go with the school year. There's the vacation when he's on vacation plan, and there's the when he's in school or in daycare plan. Like, hey, we're going to, you know, exercise then. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to go to the store then. Like I was such a lollygagger, right brain person before I had him, and having to create a schedule. I didn't know that that was important for kids. Oh, okay, this is helping him. So having this schedule, I was doing it for him, but then I quickly realized like it really helped me understand like, okay, he's going to go down for a nap at, 3 o'clock. I think it was 3 o'clock was nap time. I'll probably fall asleep with him for a little bit, but then if I wake up, I can like do some air squats. And I still kind of stick to that because I've learned like the schedule brings freedom. But I also, given that that's my schedule, I give myself a lot of grace and a lot of room for chaos to happen because that is the nature of kids. Yeah. And the reality is like now that my son, it doesn't make me cry, like now that my son is 17, what I would do to just go back to those days, and they were so chaotic and they were so hard to get any sort of like steady rhythm going. But like embrace the chaos, parents, like embrace it because they're just so little and they're so sweet and they're lovely. And like he's gonna leave like next year to go to college, and that's gonna be a tough time for me for sure. Yeah. When they're young, the chaos level is really high, and as they get older, it comes down, and so your ability to like stick to your schedule goes up. Okay, so I usually just sit here. I'll set a timer on my phone for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Put that there. And then I just close my eyes. And I start by counting 5, each breath, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, through the nose and out the mouth. After that, I just close my mouth and breathe normally and say my mantra. And I just do that over and over and over and over again. And some days the mantra's fast, and some days the mantra comes to me slowly. I just roll with it.
What is your mantra?
Ooh, you're not supposed to tell per TM guidelines. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But you're given a mantra.
You're given a mantra.
Okay.
Yep.
What happens if you don't do this?
It affects my sleep. So after about 3 days, my sleep starts getting really bad. I wake up more. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like able to sleep better. Good, right?
Yeah. The rest of the day, just kind of walk me through what that is.
So now I'm just back up. I'm working until about 4, 5, 5:30. It just depends on what I have to do. And then I come downstairs and make dinner. And again, my son, now 17, it's like sometimes he's home, sometimes he's not. So it just depends. If he's home, then I'm going to make something really nice for dinner for the both of us. And if he's not, then I just make a quick meal for myself and just try to relax, get whatever, you know, pick up the house, whatever needs to be done, or run errands if that needs to happen. And then at about 7:30, 7:45, after the sun has gone down and it's still like 100 billion degrees out, I go for a walk. It was kind of like a new practice I wanted to start. Instead of getting a treadmill desk, again, I was just trying to keep myself from having to buy yet another thing. You know, I was like, oh, if I get this treadmill, what if it doesn't work? And then I'd have a piece of junk to throw out. And I just was like, oh, why don't I just go walk outside? You know, let me see if I can walk tonight. And then the next night, well, can I fit it in tonight? Can I fit it in? And sure enough, it just seems like now every night I can do it. And it's become a really nice end of day thing. Like, it's like, okay, shutting down all the systems, the kitchen's clean, everything's ready for tomorrow. I go for a walk and then I just come in and wash my face and go to bed. And that's it.
And what do you do when everything falls apart?
I don't wait to be motivated. I don't wait for a Monday. I don't wait. It's like, oh, I have this time right now. Where would I be in the schedule? Even now, like, because, you know, podcasts and like doing different things and work gets busy. It's like sometimes like I don't meditate, you know, or sometimes I don't, but it's like, okay, now it's 4 o'clock. What am I supposed to be doing now as part of my schedule? And I just get right back on figuring I'm playing the long game here. So whatever, like, okay, I missed a workout. That's not great. There's been a few times where like I've missed my full body workout. So I make sure like, okay, if I can get it on Saturday, and I try to get at least one in a week. The VO2 max, I'm like, well, if I missed it, I missed it, because I quite frankly hate doing it. But
Can we just break down like what are actually your costs?
so this is where having an intention is really, really important. So like Brian Johnson, he has an intention, a bold and audacious goal, which I wholeheartedly support, of not dying. Like that's a brilliant intention. Like that's his intention. I'm sure he has his why. Like my intention is not that. It's to have a health span that matches my lifespan. This is what's going to happen for people when they start biohacking. You open that door and it's like all this information just starts coming out of you. Yeah, it's like yeah. There's a great scene on The Amazing World of Gumball where they're like, should I, shouldn't I? And they like open up the computer and then it's just like, yeah. I was like, I love that visual. And so that's how it feels when you open up this door. All the things you can buy. Oh my God, all the stuff you can buy. So having that intention and having your why and knowing like a general idea of budget will help you make those decisions. And so like, let's say your intention is to live forever. So you might want like more gadgets and more supplements, but maybe you can't afford them. So again, you're gonna have to think like, this is a lifelong thing. You're doing this for your life. So like, okay, you might not be able to afford it now, but like, what can you do then to increase your income, or what can you do to afford that? For me, like I'm gonna go way back to when I was a little kid. I had this best friend, Billy Anderson. We would go around the neighborhood collecting like duck eggs, and we would make these like mud holes, and we were like cooking, you know, like with our eggs and our ducks and like duck eggs and grass. And like, this is where my love of cooking came from. And this idea of like my fingers in the earth. I don't know, there's just something about plants. Like every time I like buy vegetables, I feel that same feeling, this like guttural, like, I don't know. I can't wait to like have I don't have a place to grow vegetables right now, which is why I ferment things, because that's kind of is that same thing. Eventually I'll have a place where I can grow vegetables and be in the earth every day, because it just, I think it's important to get as much nutrition as you can from the food that you eat. So whether it's eating liver, which I can't figure out how to like. I do like pate, but that's it. And lots of plants. Those things are going to work synergistically better than just reaching for a supplement in your body. And I think overall they're going to be cheaper, and it's just going to work on so many different levels. So that's how I've kind of reduced costs. And I take the other things, which I don't include in my longevity class. So the other things being, you know, the B vitamins, the D3, K2, the magnesium and the omegas, that like, I'm going to do that no matter what. I just feel better on that. But for longevity, I've added Novos, which I buy it a year at a time. So I think it's like $900, $950 for the year. So it ends up being about like $80 a month. And then my gym membership is $27. That's it.
And if there's one thing that you could tell to your younger self, what would it be?
Be gentle. Stop the whole like 6 weeks to a bikini bod kind of thinking, because that just makes you feel more like a failure. And focus more on like this is your health for the rest of your life. I think it's really, really important that you have that intention and you have that why. Those are the first things. And then, you know, the schedule. We've talked about that. But I also think like get those foundation right first. But don't think of the foundation as I've got to create this grand plan. Like, you know, I say I have a schedule, but it's a schedule I've built over more than 20 years, you know. So you have to build it slowly. And if you are doing nothing right now, then just make it 10 minutes. I'm going to exercise for 10 minutes and I'm going to eat this vegetable. Like that's going to be your schedule for the next, think about like 16 weeks. Like try to just get something so habitual and so easy. It's like brushing your teeth. You just want it to be like part of you. And if it takes like 4 months, like what else? We're talking about the rest of your life. That's okay. So take your time and just start by opening the space. As they say, like the heaviest weight to lift in the gym is the front door. Just tell yourself if you're going to go to the gym, you know, you're just going to go for 10 minutes or you're just going to go for the sauna or whatever. And really just do that. Like make it so easy you can't not do it.
You're such an inspiration, Julie.
Honestly. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really hope that it helps some people to start. If you get overwhelmed, just remember, just bring it back to the 10 minutes. You just need 10 minutes. That's all you got to do.
Thanks for being so amazing.